Welcome back. Well, there's been some reporting over the weekend suggesting that the chair of the ANC, the Energy Minister, Gwede Mantashe, has told ANC members in Welkom that the party could lose the Free State province in the elections in 2024. He's reported as saying that one of the reasons for this is infighting in the province, and that if the infighting doesn't stop, the ANC will lose the province. Perhaps the last bit of election data we have on this is that in the local elections last year, the ANC won 50.61% of the votes that were cast. Of course, just a reminder, local elections and provincial elections do not directly correlate with each other, but still, that's the best data that we have. Professor Sethulego Matebesi is academic head of department and associate professor in the Department of Sociology at the University of the Free State. Professor, good afternoon to you. Good to see you again. Is Mantashe right? Could the ANC lose the Free State in just 2 years' time?
Hi, good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon to the South African viewers. Well, it's still too early days to say that the African National Congress will lose the Free State. But coming from their current chairperson, that for me, it's a huge acknowledgement of the dire consequences or implications rather that the African National Congress may face if the ANC in the province goes along the current trajectory of infighting and almost like a vicious recycling of leadership, because after every 6 months in this province, it seems as if there are issues about the provincial leadership in this province, and it has huge implications not only for the African National Congress in the province, but also nationally, because by the way, the African National Congress in the ANC, or the electoral support of the ANC in the Free State is only third after KwaZulu-Natal and provinces such as the Eastern Cape. So you can imagine what implications this will have for the African National Congress going forward.
I mean, what's so interesting about this is that, I mean, is it just infighting in the Free State, or is it other issues as well? And I mean, you've spoken before, you've told us before about Mangaung, where you spend most of your time, how bad service delivery is there. We've seen protest after protest in Mangaung. Mangaung's the one metro that the ANC won outright.
Well, I mean, if you look at also what happened at Gwede Mantashe, one of your strongholds when it comes to local government elections. But I mean, the ANC just made it in the Free State here in terms of governing Mangaung local municipality. But it cuts across. It starts at branch level, the whole issue of gatekeeping, and it filters up at regional level, up at provincial level, and even the ones, the delegates, that are sent to monitor, the operations within the party from the to the highs. They themselves are conflicted. And that's why you will forever see this infighting continuing. So it's broader than just issues of jockeying for positions. I mean, they are fighting for the soul of the party here in the Free State. But also, I think what is significant, or what stands out for me, is that you've got the current suspended Secretary General of the African National Congress coming from this particular province. So that also has a huge implication on how things are being played out, because behind the scenes, I strongly believe that there is support for some of the disgruntled members to advance certain agendas, whether it is to the advantage of the party or to the advantage of individuals. That is something that I think South Africans will have to deliver on.
One of the things that's very complicated in the Free State is who would take over if the ANC were to lose. Now, it would probably be a pretty messy coalition, which means that the ANC may go below 50%, but may still end up being the biggest coalition partner.
Well, it is a possibility, but remember, you also have, and we don't know how the whole voting or judgment about independence will play out, but I still have very strong views that it's still early days, that even if independent candidates will be contesting the provincial and national elections, that they will have a significant impact on the outcome of the election. But fact of the matter is definitely the Democratic Alliance. But I mean, if we just briefly look at what has been happening at local government level in terms of these coalition governments, I do not also foresee, that at the end of the day, any coalition government will be in the best interest of South Africans. But South Africans are so tired about the lack of service delivery, particularly in this particular province, that they will perhaps give any other structures or formations an opportunity to govern this particular province.
Within all of this, of course, and in a way sitting on top of it, is what's happening around President Cyril Ramaphosa. The fact that he clearly was storing money, we understand illegally, presumably illegally, US currency, foreign exchange on his farm that was stolen. How serious do you see it? I mean, I've seen so many different views on this. I read this morning one person suggesting in Business Day that, in fact, he will have to step down in the end. Professor Matebesi told us last week on this program that he didn't see it, that we were taking it too seriously. Where do you stand?
Yeah, no, I don't believe the president will just necessarily step down. I mean, one argument that he may advance, and he's already made a public pronouncement about that, about the amount, and then questions will be raised whether, whoever laid a complaint against the president, did he now count the money before, or, things like that. But fact of the matter is, if it was in any other country, the president should have been gone by now. But the kind of democracy that we have is a democracy where we protect one another. You stretch my back and I will stretch yours later. And that is unfortunately what is currently playing out. And I'm keep on posing the questions. Is this the only thing that we know about our president? What else do we not know about a president that I strongly believe that has been advanced as almost like a messiah who is going to arrest almost like the decline of public trust in your public representative institutions like, whether it's a local government and even parliament and the presidency itself. But what happened with this farm gate, for me, it just gives us a signal into the individual, the kind of president that we have, and it's not good for the country.
The other question, of course, that the ANC would have to face up to is, like what happened around former President Jacob Zuma, when some people in the ANC proposed he leave, as we see some people in the ANC now proposing Ramaphosa step aside, is who would take over? I can't imagine what would happen in the ANC if Ramaphosa left now, or even left before December, or even left in December.
Yeah, well, we don't even know who is going to contest the presidency of the African National Congress come, even if he doesn't step aside. Now, it's even worse if he does step aside, and I do concur with you that it's very difficult to predict who will come in. Because if you look at the ANC currently, you've got a grouping that is fighting for their political life. And anything else, logic, rationale, that do not matter for them as long as they can protect their own political careers. And that is a very dangerous grouping of people if you look at them. But you also have those who believe that perhaps if President Cyril Ramaphosa can get a second term, one way or the other, he will mute the so-called fight back against corruption. But currently, it's very difficult to predict who will be able to occupy that space, the space of a presidency of the African National Congress and of the country should Cyril Ramaphosa step aside.
Professor Sethulego Matebesi, thank you. Associate Professor of Sociology at the University of the Free State.